So, Nilou is a great character and all, but I feel like she's just someone who just really should have been a four-star character. I mean, maybe it's just because I feel like she, in a way, is too niche for a five-star, and also her having a pretty minimal, role in the Archon quest as a whole. It's kind of like how, you know, the way a lot of people, including me, feel how Kuching doesn't, she shouldn't really be a five-star. Ningguang should be one instead. And also the fact that Ningguang was actually supposed to be a five-star really adds to that. So I just get that sort of feeling. In addition to her being really niche, I feel like her being a four-star would really help validate her mainly Bloom playstyle that's just really, really niche. And also, yeah, I know, you could potentially do a vape, Nilo build with her, that's, totally possible. I've seen those crazy, you know, speed runs of, Abyss. But, I'm talking about how her kit intends her to be played, not really, the nicher, more creative side of things. And I also don't like how her passive talent activates only if you have one Dendro and one Hydro character. Oh, actually, all Dendro or Hydro, and there's at least a one of each. But the thing is that it doesn't allow for any other room for other elements. That's just I find that that's really annoying because what if I want Kazuha? Some Bloom teams work really well in fights where there's a lot of enemies. What if I need them to be grouped up? I want Kazuha to swirl them all together, and sure, I might even take his EM and cause some blooms as well, because we all know we build him for EM, so his blooms dealing damage is gonna be pretty phenomenal. And who knows? Maybe I also just want a Zhongli, because maybe I don't want to bring the healer for Bloom, and I just rather have a shield, Because I don't want those blooms to, off my characters. And also, I would just probably get rid of her Hydro Infusion if I were to make her a four-star character. It doesn't really see much function. I don't see a lot of people using it. Obviously, they usually use her skill 3 times, so you get the ring of water around her, so you can proc Bloom. So it's just I would just get that out of the way. Oh, and almost before I forget to mention, I would make the whole Bountiful Cores kit of her mechanic of her bountiful cores just completely disappear. I feel like if she were to be a four-star, she can't be too overpowered where the blooms can't explode or can't can't trigger Burgeon or can't trigger Hyperbloom. I feel like it would make it a lot more balanced. I would keep the damage increase from her second Ascension passive where the blooms would deal more damage based off her max HP, but I'd lower the threshold of what max HP it would start off from, and obviously it would not be, you know, talking about bountiful cores, would be just regular blooms. And yeah, honestly, I'm fine with her scaling. I don't think, the HP is anything crazy. I know a lot of people have been oh, it's HP, it's always HP recently, and I totally get that, but honestly, I don't really see that as much of a issue for her. Maybe it's because she is a Hydro character, so they're kind of ish the Hydro element. So the health element, so it's understandable. So yeah, that's I guess what I would do. And yeah, I feel like she'd be a quite powerful, but niche enough to be balanced out if she were to be a four-star driver of bloom reaction slash mean DPS that way. Now, Barbara and Qiqi are characters that aren't all really that great in the meta. They're not really high priority characters that you want to build. They don't really do much for your team. But the thing is that Barbara's C6 is honestly really nice in a pinch. It's great. It's amazing. And Qiqi's? It's not. Now, ultimately, I don't want to offend any Qiqi stands, Qiqi mains, no shade, okay? Just want to make that very, very clear. But I do need to talk about this in a very objective sort of way, an unbiased sort of situation. So let me to explain. Now, when you're fighting in battle and, on the off chance, on the unfortunate, circumstance where one of your characters fall in battle, they end up perishing. It's really annoying. You have to, revive them. It could mess up your rotation. They could lose their burst, but if they have it up, you might have to go to your statue. It's annoying. And in Abyss, you just have to restart your chamber. There's just no other option unless you want to carry through, and it's the last chamber, so you just might as well just push through. However, the thing is that Barbara C6 allows you to revive that character. It's like a saving grace, as I like to call it. It states, when Barb is in the party and not on the field, and one of your own party members fall, it automatically revives the fallen character and fully restores the revived character's HP to 100%. This effect can only occur once every 15 minutes. This is nice. Barb is a saving grace. She just kind of just wipes the slate clean. It's good. Now, let me explain Qiqi's C6. Hers is pretty similar as well. However, hers states, using Adeptus Arc Preserver Fortune, aka her Elemental Burst, it will revive all fallen party members nearby and regenerate 50% of their HP. This effect can only occur once every 15 minutes. Pretty similar, pretty standard. Qiqi essentially means that it can revive multiple characters at the same time, up to 3, obviously, because Qiqi has to be alive for this to happen. And Barba's is only a one-time for one person. Now you may be thinking, wow, this is so powerful. Like, Qiqi can revive so many characters, it's great. However, here's the issue. A C6 Qiqi is going to make you a very, very, very unhappy human being. It will mean that you have lost 50/50s. A lot. To a lot of characters that you may have wanted on the limited banners. It will also mean that you probably have gotten Qiqi every single time as your standard banner 5-star when you wish on the standard banner. And you may be pissed because maybe you wanted a Luke, or a Keqing, or a Tignari, or a Mona, or a Jean, or maybe even a 5-star weapon. And you know, that's just sad, because I don't want to see you lose. I hope you win your 50/50s. It's not fun to lose. And second, Qiqi revives multiple characters. Now, here's the thing. Reviving multiple characters, that's great, that's powerful. However, in this case, if you have more than one character, not able to take the field, because I can't say, the word, the unalive word, the thing is that that's probably not on, whatever is going on in the situation. And what I mean by that, I mean that it's probably, sorry to say it, your fault. Here's the reason why. Qiqi, everything about her in her kit, all of it goes into healing. None of it goes into damage. The only way she is ever able to do damage is if you, 1, build her as a cryo build and Shenhe boost her, which is extremely copium, or put her on Ocean Hued Clam where her bubble from Ocean Hued can pop and deal physical damage. That's the only way she can deal damage. Truly. That and like some normals and whatever, and like whatever minimal damage from her skill and burst. That's it. Everything about her goes into healing. So first of all, if at least one character perishes, while Qiqi is your healer in your team, there's probably something wrong. And second, this leads from the first point to this point. If there are multiple of your characters perishing, there must be something wrong with how you're playing, because that means that maybe you don't have a shielder, or you didn't build the healer properly, or you didn't iframe. You're not iframing properly, or you're not sprinting or managing your stamina properly. There's something going on in how you're playing the game, and not exactly in, needing this. You don't need this. If you are perishing this much, that is not a problem for the game to solve. I think that's just something for you to resolve on your own. Barba's is understandable because it's like a saving grace. Your character sometimes gets one shot. You iframe wrong by 1 second, you perish. It's one of those things. It happens. Maybe you can't activate your burst because you're getting pushed up against a wall. You perish. It happened. Barbara saves you. It's a saving grace, one-time fluke. Qiqi, if it's happening to multiple people, that's not something that she should be resolving. That's more something that you should be resolving. So that is why Barbara C6 will always be better than Qiqi C6. So, Razor Hyperbloom is honestly not as copium as you think, and let me explain why. Now, as we all know how Hyperbloom works, it is when Hydra and Dendro come together and create a Dendro core. Then, when a character applies Electro, it will shoot up like a firework, and will track down an enemy like a Tracer Missile and deal Dendro damage. That's how it works. And the damage is solely based on character level and EM. And newly, Flower of Paradise Lost, that artifact set boosting Hyperbloom damage. Now, the thing is that Qiqi has been like the very optimal free-to-play of this sort of team. She's a person that can apply Electro consistently. Her skill has essentially an infinite uptime. You don't have any sort of downtime with it, and she can heal you, and she gets, you know, some sort of benefits from having her on EM. Her healing, gets increased, and her damage gets increased a little bit, so it's nice. However, Razor, I will admit, might actually be even better than Qiqi. And shoot, might actually be even better than Raiden at Hyperbloom. And the
The weather
reason
all
is
around
because
blackens the
of
heart.
one certain thing. Razor's C4. His C4 constellation states that when he taps his skill and it hits an opponent, the opponent's defense will be decreased by 15% for 7 seconds. And while Hyperblooms and all subsidiary
Time to
bloom
go.
reactions, like Bloom Virgin, right, their damage is solely based on character level and EM of the character who is triggering the reaction. It doesn't say anything about reducing resistances or defense on the enemy that you're attacking with. And since Razor can do that, it allows him, technically, if I were to give him the same exact artifacts as Qiqi or Raiden, and I were to give an EM weapon that is the same, which it has the same EM, which honestly is possible since Rain Slasher's 165 EM at level 90, and Tokabu Shigure, Iron Sting, and Xiphos' Moonlight all have 165 EM at level 90 as well, for, Qiqi. The damage actually gets increased by Razor because he's actually defense shredding, which allows them to be more susceptible. And so, Razor's actually a lot better at Hyperbloom. And and on a side note, if you guys think that Razor doesn't have enough electric reply to trigger Hyperblooms, you're absolutely mistaken. His sigils that he gets from his skill gives him 20% energy recharge with each one he has, and he can has up to 3, so that's 60%. And when he holds the skill and he has 3 electro sigils, up to 3 electro sigils, he can gain 15 energy from that. His burst also deals coordinated electro attacks, and his second passive allows him to have his energy recharge increase by 30% when his energy is
Strong.
below 50%. And if you have a C6, that's an extra instance of electro damage that allows him to be able to trigger Hyperbloom. So there's a ton of electro applications, so there's no worry about him not even being able to trigger Hyperbloom. And finally, Razor can actually deal a bit more damage than Qiqi, especially since, and Raiden honestly, since if you want to use Razor on field, which you would if you had Nahida, you would have to have him on field in order to take the extra elemental mastery bonus from Nahida's passive. And so by doing that, you would have to normal attack with Razor on field trigger and Hyper Blooms. That also means Razor will be using his physical attacks, and his special ascension stat is physical damage bonus, meaning that his damage for his normals are actually going to be hitting harder than Raiden's and Kuki's because you would not level Qiqi or Raiden's normal attacks because it doesn't really do much for how they're intended to be played. So actually, Razor's gonna end up doing more damage anyways. So some of you guys might want to take a look at your Razor in a whole new light and brush off those old Razor mains and, you know, bring a new light to him with Hyperbloom. Okay, so this last one is a little bit of a different thing. Since this sort of opinion or, reflection, inflection, thoughts isn't really about the game specifically, but is more about Hoyo. I'm surprised that Hoyo hasn't released like an official board game slash card game version of Genius Invocation TCG. It's literally like a no-brainer. They can make placemats. They literally have the digital placemats of different regions in the game, and they can make cards and make off of it. Dice off of it. And the thing is that I'm fairly sure someone on AliExpress already did that, so I don't understand why they wouldn't just release like an official like box set of like the full game or something, because that would make a lot of money. That'd be really popular, it'd be really cool, and honestly, I go to some board game cafes with my friends, and honestly, I wouldn't mind playing that at a board game cafe. That'd be really cool. That'd be insane. And speaking on that note, I was thinking about that event that we had with Lieben multiple times, the Marvelous Merchandise, where we, give them a couple materials, whether it's sweet flowers or sunsettias or pine cones or bird eggs or whatever, and we get a little gift box with like some primos or some heroes wit or enhancement stuff or whatever, whatever. And I was thinking, why doesn't Hoyo just release that as like a season's greeting sort of thing. Those gift boxes look really cool of those slimes. They look really cool, and honestly, I want to DIY them one day and like put like plushies of like that are associated with their favorite characters and like you know give them to my friends like as a gift like sometime, whether it's their birthday or Christmas or whatever. So like I don't understand why don't do that. They could honestly even make it like one of those like monthly subscription boxes like Boxu or something like that. Not but this is not sponsored by Boxu, just want to say that. But like that's the only one I can apparently think off of my head. I don't understand why they wouldn't do that. And they can include some like Genshin stickers and like some like visions and keychains, and they can even work with like people who make those things on their own and like sell on Etsy or like on their own shops, and that could be really cool. They already work with like streamers to like be their kind of like spokespeople for the game. I don't see why they couldn't do that for this. People would eat this up. They'd buy that and it'd be amazing. Honestly, they could probably even, honestly, if it's like one of those like ramen boxes, like those like monthly ramen boxes, they could like make they could like like package like versions of like all the lovely Genshin recipes and foods and like have it as like a meal you make at home in these like monthly gift boxes that are in these like marvelous merchandise slime present boxes. It's like, I want the Animo slime box with all of the candy, or I want the Electro slime box with the spicy ramen, or I want the Cryo box with all of the cool stickers and keychains. Like, that'd be so cool. I don't know why Hoyo hasn't thought of it yet, but hey, on the off chance that they're watching this video, you can have it. Take the idea. Honestly, just benefits us all. It's a good time for us all. So yeah. Okay, so this was my first time recording my voice for a video. I know I had a video released before, but it was that had my voice in it, but it was just like a stream that my friend was doing on Twitch, and like it happened to have my voice in it because it was connected to Discord. But this is the first time I recorded my voice, and it's quite hilarious because I don't have a room, so I am currently recording this in my bathroom in the middle of the night. So, I hope the audio was okay. I don't really have a microphone, I just have like earbuds with the mic near like the mouth. That's really it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed my opinions, my thoughts, my reflections, inflections. And I hope, maybe agree with them or have, some further insight to offer down below in the comments. Yeah, that's really it. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you'd like to see more of this, well then just tell me. That's really it. Bye, have a great day, good night, or whatever time of day it is.